Tonight, the trial everyone is ready to start. Final motions today, jury selection tomorrow, then get ready for a long, hot Whitey Bulger summer. Plus,
no, there's no downside.
Say shoppers who are willing to pay more money and attention to the origin of products. And the Rhode Island School of Design on the evolution of men's fashion. Now on Greater Boston. Good evening. It's a trial many people have been waiting for decades. He's accused of murdering 19 people, bribing FBI agents, running a racketeering organization, all at the same time he was an FBI informant. Now, James Whitey Bulger is about to go on trial almost 2 years after he was captured in Santa Monica, California. A final few motions were filed today. Jury selection will start tomorrow. Adam Riley was in court today. First of all, frustrating for all of us because Whitey Bulger, of course, appeared in court today. How did he look? How did he seem?
He had shaved his rather substantial beard, and from what I saw, I only saw him from behind and to the side, but he actually looked strikingly like his brother, Billy Bulger, the former state Senate president. Just something about, you could see the resemblance more now that the beard was gone. Yeah, fuller face, softer chin. He was largely impassive from what I saw today. When he was greeted by the Judge Denise Casper, he nodded back, a greeting of his own. But other than that, he really just sat silently while his attorneys and attorneys for the DOJ went back and forth.
Okay, so some of these motions, Jay Carney, I guess somewhat surprisingly, withdrew his motion that the families of victims be limited to their testimony. He withdrew that.
I was surprised not only that he withdrew it, but at the sort of amiable way that it all happened. He got up to explain that motion, which had, as you know, caused a big stir, I think, a couple weeks ago when it was filed, maybe a week ago. He had filed a motion saying he wanted family members of alleged victims limited to the bare bones of what happened, that he didn't want them ranging far and wide. Today he said, my concern was that people, through no bad intention, would essentially give victim impact statements of the sort that you're supposed to give after someone is found guilty, as opposed to testifying about the relevant details. After he explained that, the U.S. Attorney's Office people got up and said, well, we don't want that to happen either. We're not going to allow that to happen. And, Carney ended up saying, essentially, all right, well, in that case, I take it back.
All right, there's a couple of others. One was about testimony from dead people who have essentially recorded or somehow documented what happened and how their involvement with Whitey Bulger. Is that going to be admissible?
And that the judge, at least when I left the trial, she had not yet decided. And the fascinating thing here is the Bulger saga has been playing out for so long that a lot of people got key information who are no longer around to recount it in court. They're dead, or maybe mentally they're just not of sound mind. They're not capable of testifying at a trial. So there was back and forth today over, as you said, let's say that someone gave testimony against Bulger and then was murdered. The defense was arguing, well, if the person who was murdered spoke to an FBI agent to give their testimony, and that particular FBI agent is still alive and can come into court and recount the testimony against Bulger that was given, then Bulger will be able to, or we, on behalf of Bulger, will be able to challenge the testimony and everything will be sound. They argued if the dead person told it to one FBI agent, who then told it to another, who told it to another, who's the one who'd be coming into court because the other ones are all dead, then that's too much hearsay. And the judge has not yet made a decision on that.
Okay, they were also trying to control, I don't blame them, the court, how what's said before court, after court, how the media is handled. So is Jay Carney going to be allowed to come out right after any given day's court and have microphones set up and say something, or are they going to limit that?
This struck me as a victory for Carney. The government, as you said, wanted to basically impose an all-out gag order on him. They didn't want him able to talk after the trial. He'd been holding regular media avails in front of the courthouse. They didn't want him talking after each day of the trial. Carney pushed back at this today. He said, the government has been talking about Whitey Bulger in non-judicial environments for years. He said, it took Osama bin Laden to bump him off #1 on the FBI's most wanted list. That's been out there in public for ages. He pointed out that one of the attorneys prosecuting the case had appeared on Dateline and, as he said, looked very handsome talking about the Bulger case on Dateline. And he said, for my client, I am obligated. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't push back at that in a public forum myself. Judge Denise Casper, it seemed to me, was a little bit skeptical. She seemed to think that maybe J.W. Carney, Bulger's attorney, had gone too far in the run-up to the trial, but she said, as long as you adhere to the rules about what attorneys are and aren't supposed to say, we'll let the gag go.
All right. Well, we're probably going to welcome it because it's going to be the only thing we're going to be able to hear.
It is, as you said, so frustrating not to have cameras in there.
Adam Riley, thank you. Look forward to your reports from the court. WGBH will have continuing coverage of the Whitey Bulger trial on Greater Boston, 89.7 FM, and WGBHnews.org.